Hey guys, Tomo back again. Welcome to my 2023 smartphone award video. This video is inspired by MKBHD's video, so decided to make a version of my own. Some caveat here, all the words I'm giving out is just based on the phones that I have personally used over the last 12 months. And in general, I tend to use phones for at least 30 days or so to get a fair review. So I just can't physically use every single phone. There's only 12 months in a year. So in theory, 12 is the floor I can use, and the max can be anywhere from 14 to 20, I guess, depending on how it goes. So I'm going to be using the same categories that Marquez is using in his video. I do have some disagreement with his choices, so stay tuned to see my full awards for the best smartphones of 2023. But before jumping into the award, just want to give a quick shout out to my partner Mint Mobile. Currently they offer 5G plan for as low as $15 a month, and you buy 3 months, you get 3 months free. This is a limited time offer, so make sure to check them out. Link in the description below. Okay, first category on the list is the Best Big Smartphone Award. I agree with Marquez on this one with the Galaxy S23 Ultra. With the S23 Ultra, this phone generally releases at the beginning of the year around January or February. And this is the best Samsung phone that you can get. You get the best camera, the best processor, the best screen, you get the S Pen, you get Samsung DeX 100x zoom with your best camera. Even though the Galaxy Z Fold 5 actually costs more, the best camera system and all the most highest spec is on the Ultra phone compared to the folding phone. Folding phone, you're pretty much just buying the novelty factor, but just pure hardware specs alone, Galaxy S23 Ultra utilizes the space pretty well for a phone that large. So I think it is deserving of that award. And for the best compact smartphone of 2023, I am going with the Galaxy S23, the base model. Not the Galaxy Z Flip 5. That phone is technically a 6.9-inch phone when you use it normally. I think most people are going to use the phone when it's open rather than just closed. When it's closed, you do get a fully functional display, but once you open it up, it is a pretty large phone. You had to stretch and bend your finger a lot. So even though the Z Flip 5 is technically compact, but in its compact state, it is not really that usable for normal everyday purposes. And it's kind of crazy to think at 6.1 inches is considered small these days, but this is the world that we're living in. Smartphones are slowly creeping up bigger and bigger, and it's harder to find a really good smartphone that is small and powerful. I think people say that they want it, but they still buy the bigger phone. So unfortunately, I think the small phone space is kind of a lost art there. I know the Asus Zen 5 is supposed to be a popular phone, but I just personally haven't had a chance to use it this year due to the fact that it's not really readily available to phone carriers. I can't just walk into T-Mobile and say I want the Asus Zenfone 10. And that fact alone makes a pretty big difference, at least in the US. I think most people in the US, they buy cell phone directly from the carrier, even though they can easily just buy it online. But it's just the way people are wired and trained. They just tend to go to the carrier to buy the phones. Same thing with iMessage and all that. People are just all wired to use iPhone, iMessage, although there are so many other different solutions out there that can easily solve a lot of the problem. But long story short, Galaxy S23 is a pretty big improvement compared to the S22, just in terms of battery life. You get the latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. In general, I get anywhere from 12 to 17 hours of battery life, depending on how much or little I use my phone. And on really light usage day, I am able to achieve at least 24 hours of battery life, which is insane for a phone that's small. So best compact phone that I have used in 2023 is the Galaxy S23. Next on the list is the best camera, and I am going with the iPhone 15 Pro Max as well. This is the industry consensus just in terms of best video. Camera is debatable. I'm not ready to drop any hot takes in this particular segment, but in general, you can't really go wrong with Samsung or Pixel either, or even any of the high-end flagship phones. It's really hard to find a bad camera phone if you're spending more than $700. But either way, still gotta pick a winner, and I'll go with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. The Best Value Award, I am going with a hot take. Moto Razr 2023. This phone is priced at $600, but right now we go on Amazon, you can get it for $500. Marquez gave the A54 this award, and I personally cannot recommend the A54. I wouldn't even want to recommend it to my worst enemy either. I love Samsung phone, and Samsung phones are generally my favorite phones to use. I just do not like the A series. I find that the A series, especially the A53, is really slow. The A54 got a little bit faster, but just under everyday usage. Half a second slower between any swipe, whether you're just moving between screens, switching between apps. It's just, I don't know. I'm not that picky with smartphone, but I find it so slow and painful that I cannot recommend. Moto Razr, on the other hand, I am going with this Best Value Award because in the world where flipping phones and folding phones can cost up to $2,000 if you want the latest fold after taxes and everything, and if you do not want the fold, then you have to go with the flip, which is about $1,000. After taxes and everything, it will go to $1,100 to $1,200. So in the world where flipping phones and folding phones are trying to become a thing, I think the Moto Razr is really good value because it makes flipping phones affordable for almost anybody. It is half the cost of the regular flip models. The Galaxy Z Flip 5 is $1,000. This one is $500. The Moto Razr Plus is $1,000. This one is $500. So value-wise, you're getting 80 to 90% of what we're getting with the other flipping phones. The only thing you're really missing is just a larger outer display. Although one can argue that you don't really need the big outer display that much. And I think I'm going to give Motorola this award because they're making strides in the right direction. We see the Pixel Fold coming up, pricing the same as the Galaxy Z Fold 5 at $1,800. I do like that OnePlus priced their OnePlus Open at $1,700. So it is $100 less. But now we're seeing a budget variant of the flip phones. What I do want to see next is a budget variant of the folding phone. Hopefully it can hover anywhere around the $1,000 mark, or even less would be better. So I think the Moto Razr 2023 is a great value here. Best battery award is going to go to the iPhone 15 Pro Max for me. I have never used a phone where I literally got a day and a half of battery life. So a full 36 hours, so let that sink in for a second. Most Android phones that I have used can barely get close to 24 hours, but the iPhone 15 Pro Max can get a full 24 hours and another 12 hours on top of that. I know that the iPhone 15 Plus, that one's only 60 Hz, and I think it will even have a better battery due to the fact that it doesn't need the higher refresh rate running and all that. But I just personally did not use the iPhone 15 Plus, so I'm giving the award to the iPhone 15 Pro Max just because of the fact that I personally use it and I was impressed with the battery life. It still destroys any Android phone that I've used this in terms of battery life, so as much as I hate to admit it, kudos to Apple's for their efficiency. The design award, I was going back and forth between the OnePlus Open and the Moto Razr Plus in this category, and if I were to use the Honor Magic V2, I think that one is a clear runaway winner. But I find it hard to give the award to a phone that's not really readily available to the world. If I want to go on Amazon and buy it right now, I can't get it in the US. So I'm just going to stick with the phones that the majority of the world can buy and is available globally. Not a hot take here, but I'm going with the Moto Razr Plus. I do like the full outer display. Flipping phones in general, I find it to be kind of a novelty factor. Really no point in folding the phone unless you want something small, put in your pocket and put it away. But other than that, there's really no other usability. But I do like the fact that Motorola changed the outer display. It kind of took away a lot of Samsung thunder before the Z Flip 5 came out. But I like Motorola's outer display better. It is a full display. It is a more bolder, cooler looking display. All screen except for the 2 circle camera hump, obviously. Unlike Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5, they got the weird manila shape folder design. And when taking selfies and also recording video and you're using the preview screen, I find that the Z Flip 5 is a little distracting because of that folder shape cutout. And that you may think that your pictures is getting cut off, but there's just no screen there to preview it, and the lens is covering it, so it may look like your face is cut off. But when you go back and take a look at the photo, everything looks fine. So little things like that is very minor and very specific, but you do take selfies or record video using the preview screen, I find that the full outer display that Motorola offered looks better. And on top of that, I like the desktop mode on Motorola more than the DeX on Samsung. Samsung DeX, for whatever reason, when I use it in my triple screen monitor setup on my computer, I can only use Samsung DeX on one screen, but with Motorola, the desktop mode, I can drag all the apps across 3 different screens, and I find that to be much more useful. So design, usability, hot take, going with the Moto Razr Plus. I would have loved to give it to OnePlus Open as well, but it was pretty close. OnePlus Open, I do like the fact that they made their phone lighter. It is lighter than all the other big folding phones out there, besides the Honor Magic V2. But it has a big outer display, so when I'm using it, I never feel like I need to open it unless I have to. And I think that is a really good balance just in terms of design. Alrighty, speaking of the OnePlus Open, the best folding phone of 2023, I am giving that to the OnePlus Open. Just in terms of battery life, it is the best Android battery life that I have used. I have been consistently getting close to 24 hours of battery life, if not more. Just under normal usage, I'm not even going out of my way to use it less in order to achieve this. But I get 24 hours pretty easily, no matter when I start my day. I can know that I can confidently make it through the day. And just overall, really impressed with the battery life. Not as good as the iPhone, but still the best that I've used on Android. And on top of that, you're getting 67-watt fast charging with the charging brick included in the box. And this is not something that we see anymore from any of the other flagship phones, so props to OnePlus for doing that. And they managed to make the crease not noticeable either. When I use the Galaxy Z Fold 5 or the Pixel Fold, I would always see the crease all the time, and it does distract me every now and then. But when I use the OnePlus Open, I almost never think about the crease, and I think overall OnePlus did a really great job with their folding phone for a first-gen foldable device. Next award is the most improved. I am going with the Pixel 8. They are offering 7 years of software updates, which is unheard of. Samsung only give you 4 years of updates, and they have long had the crown just in terms of updates on the Android side. But now Google is blowing everybody out the water with 7 years of guarantee updates, so that is really cool just in terms of getting value for your phone. And on top of that, you are getting 2K nits peak brightness. That is higher than Galaxy S23 Ultra at 1750. So I think the Pixel 8, there were some big significant improvement there just in terms of going from the 7 to the 8. I think that is a really big improvement. Okay, now on to the Bust of the Year award. Dropped my chapstick by accident. Another hot take here, I may have hinted it a little bit earlier on in the video, but I'm going with the Galaxy A54. I just think at $450, it is not really worth it. I find that A54 is just half a second slower anytime I navigate the phone or even use it. When I have the A54 and my Galaxy S23 at the same time, I would always just gravitate towards using the S23, of course. When I have the A54 and my old Galaxy S20 side by side, I would still tend to reach for my Galaxy S20 more. Galaxy S20, I'm actually using this phone to record the video right now. I just find that the older S20 to be more reliable. It is a faster chip. I can move around, use everything normally. And even when I jump from the S20 to the S22, the S23, all these phones feel really similar just in terms of performance and processing speed, navigating, swiping back and forth. But the second I switch back to the A54, I do notice right away it feels so much slower. I'm not sure how else to say it, but just like doing every little thing. I don't typically notice these things unless it really stand out. I'm actually shocked that Marquez gave the A54 the best value award. I just think for a phone that is best value, it should have the best processor, which it does not have. It's much slower. Even the Pixel 7a, the Pixel 6a, everything is smoother, faster, swiping around. It should have one of the best camera, which it does not have either. When I used the A54, I noticed some of the camera features were missing, like video portrait mode, or just all the features you would see in the high-end Samsung flagship phones. You do miss a lot of that on the A series. So therefore, I'm going to give the A54 the bust of the year. I think the S23 FE is a better value than the A54, even though it's slightly more expensive, but you do get the fastest speed, you get the better camera setup, and just overall experience with using the phone. I just can't stand the A series. I hated the A53. I was okay with the A54, but I was not wowed by it by any means. Okay, now on to the last category, the MVP award. I am giving this one to the OnePlus Open. I think OnePlus crushed it this year just in terms of making folding phones great. Samsung have had a head start just in terms of their flipping phone. Their folding phones have 5 generations, but I think the OnePlus Open did a lot of things well, and it is priced lower than the Galaxy Z Fold 5. Z Fold 5 is $1,800, OnePlus Open is $1,700. And even if you go on Amazon right now, you can get it for $1,500. So we are getting closer to that $1,000 mark, and I just think you get more with the OnePlus phone compared to the Galaxy Z Fold 5. Literally get a bigger box when you buy the phone, and you get more in the box. You get the charging brick, which Samsung does not offer. You get the higher charging speed, 67 watt compared to 30 or whatever Samsung's offering. And Samsung, you would need to buy the charging brick separately. That's another $50 on top of the $1,800. With the OnePlus Open, it came with the bumper case. Bumper case you can get on Amazon for another $5 to $10, but it is included. So props to OnePlus for throwing that in. And I think that a OnePlus Open is just the perfect size for a folding phone. Ironically, when you use a folding phone, I want a phone that I do not have to open it unless I really want to. When I use the Galaxy Z Fold 5, every time I hold the front, it's so thin and narrow that I feel obligated to open it. Otherwise, it gets really uncomfortable when I use it one hand, and it feels really long and skinny, so I end up having to tilt it a lot to reach the top corners, and that is a dangerous maneuver because if you're tilting these large, heavy folding phones, you're more likely to drop it. But with the OnePlus Open, they have a pretty standardized outer display, so I can use it like a normal smartphone. I don't need to tilt it as much. I don't need to do a lot of finger gymnastics, and I think OnePlus crushed it just in terms of the perfect size outer display. I don't think they need to do anything crazy with it. The Pixel Fold did a good job with the outer display as well, but I find it to be just a tad too wide, so I have to stretch my finger across. If you have giant hands, I think that'll be fine. For me, I just find that I need to stretch too far compared to the OnePlus Open. I think it is the optimal size for me. And there's no crease inside. There is no... Actually, the crease is still there, it's just not as noticeable. And you're getting an incredible 24 hours battery life, which is the best that I've used on any Android phone. And I'm giving this the MVP award just because it stands out more. Like any of the other regular smartphones, they're all same, boring, they just feel the same every single year. The S23 feels like the S22, the iPhone 15 feels like the iPhone 14. These get a minor spec up here and there. But with the OnePlus Open, you actually get a really fun phone to use. It is still really expensive, but you get a lot included for the price. And I think they did folding phones the right way. And I think this should be the trend going forward, just in terms of setting the standard. Of course, there's always room just to make it lighter. The Pixel Fold felt like a brick in the hand. The Z Fold 5 was heavy as well. The OnePlus Open is actually just as heavy as the iPhone 14 Pro Max last year. So it is a pretty decent weight. I wouldn't mind them shaving a few grams off, but it feels much lighter compared to other folding phones. Some notables that I do want to point out, I did not use the Pixel 8 Pro. I didn't really see the point in it because I already used the regular Pixel 8. With 8 Pro, you get the bigger screen, you get the bigger battery, you get higher peak brightness, technically the better camera setup. You get the temperature sensor in the back and a few more cool AI tricks, but I don't think it justifies the $1,000 price tag. And iPhone 15 Pro Max, I only used that. I did not use the rest of the lineup. I did not get a chance to use the Nothing Phone 2 either, or the Honor Magic 2. So once again, these awards are just based on the phones that I have used. But let me know your thoughts and if you agreed or disagree with any of my awards. And as always, thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Please check out my Galaxy S23 FE review you haven't already. That phone somehow did not make it into my award list, but I did really like that phone. I think I would throw that in the honorable mention for the value award, even though I did not mention it earlier, so make sure to check out that video. I appreciate the time as always, and see you guys in the next video.